Hi everybody, it's Joe Krug from Finsweet. In this video, we're going over the Finsweet CMS library for Webflow. We're in the live example going through the filter component. Before we get into this example, you must understand how this works. The filter component takes text that's inside of a collection item and it filters that item in the grid based on the text. So we have our collection list item here. This is Webflow CMS generated. Each one of these pieces of text is a way for this item to be filtered in the grid. We have 2020, blue, fun, CMS false, branding. This one is 2017, red, not fun, use CMS true, web design. These are controlled inside Webflow CMS. We have the year, we have a rich text of branding, web design, we have color in a dropdown, we have the toggle, and we have fun. Updating any of these will update that text inside the item and then change how that item is filtered. So updating filters and types and all of that is very easy and very quick and can be managed by you or the client inside Editor. You do not need to visibly see this text on the page. It needs to be on the published site, but it does not need to be visible. In all of these examples, we're going to keep the filters visible because we want to show that it's actually working. But if you wanted to hide these on the published site, you can do that. I can hide this right here, just show project name, and it's still going to filter by all of these filter options. It's going to filter by 2017, red, not fun. Everything is going to work. Does not need to be visible, just needs to be there. Let's jump into examples and see how this works. We're going to look at filtering with one filter group with filter type exclusive. Filter type exclusive means that you can only select one option at a time. Here we have a filter group of colors. We're going to select blue and watch the grid update to all blue options. We only see blue here. And if I were to go click red, blue would be unselected and the grid would update to all red. Same thing with yellow and orange and green. Watch as I'm clicking through the different colors, I'm only allowed to select one at a time. I can unselect, but I can't have both active at the same time. That's exclusive. So when you have an exclusive filter, the user can only see one color at a time. Let's go into Designer, see how this is set up. We're in Designer, we have our dynamic list on the page, we have our filter buttons on the page, and we're going to look at the structure, the classes, and data attributes that we need to add here. First, we need to make sure that we have a class on our collection list element. This is not the collection list wrapper, this is the collection list element, and we have a class name of collection-list. Next, we're going to look at the parent wrapper of the buttons in our filter group. The parent wrapper, not the buttons themselves. Here we have filters-wrapper. And if I go in Inspector, you'll see that this is the parent of all of these filter buttons. We don't care about the class on the button, on the link, on the radio, on the checkbox. It doesn't matter. We're not working with classes here. We are working with the class of the parent. So here filters wrapper is going to be used when we go into the JavaScript. The last thing we need is the data attribute of filter by. Each one of these has a data attribute, filter by, with the value of what we want to filter by. Here we have blue, which filters by blue, red, filter by red, yellow, filter by yellow, orange, filter by orange, and green, filter by green. As you can see, it's not case sensitive. We can have all caps, all lowercase. We can have uppercase, lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. It doesn't matter. What this is doing is searching for the text green inside our item. So here we are looking for green. If it finds green, it's going to filter that item in the grid. If it doesn't find green, it's not going to be filtered. And that's it. That's all the structure we need in order for this to work and in order for us to filter our items. We're in the custom code. We're gonna go line by line how to make this filter work. Before the closing body tag, we need to add the Finsweet CMS Library script. When we launch this library, we'll have a hosted file for you. Right now, this is not the real script file. Then we are going to add our project-specific script. The first thing we need to do in here is create a new instance of our FS library. This new instance is going to target the collection list. This is the class that we gave the collection list element on the page. All of this is going to be stored in a variable called projects grid. Projects grid is going to be used later on. So we create this variable, and that variable can now be used later on in the script. Nice. The next thing we need to do is establish our array. An array is a list. We are making a list of all of our filter groups. Each item in the array is going to be a filter group. Since we are only using one filter group in this example, we only have one list item here. This list item is going to ask for the filter wrapper and the filter type. Filter wrapper is that parent class of all the buttons in that group. And in this case, it's filters wrapper. All of our color buttons are sitting inside the filters wrapper. Then we need to say, what type of filter is it? Is it exclusive or is it multi? In this example, we're using exclusive. We can only select one at a time, so that's what we're putting here. And that's it. We've now defined our array. We're now telling the library what we want to filter by, and now we can use myFilters variable later on in the code when we define our filter array. Let's go and run this instance. We have our projects grid. We're going to run the filter component on it. And the filter component is going to ask for the filter array, which we just defined up here. We get to define the active class, which in this case is FLTR-active. And that is the class that's going to be added to the buttons when they are in an active state. And let me go back and show you what that is. So all of these have an add-on class of FLTR-active. And you can see that since we get to define this and we have an add-on class in the middle, we can actually make each one of these active states unique. Nice. So all of these, this is our active state, and this is the class that's going to be added to these buttons when they are active. Awesome. Let's get back into the code. And then we have the option to add animation. If you want to animate your grid while the items are being filtered, you can do that here. Here we are enabling true with a duration of 200 milliseconds, easing of ease out with a fade and translate of 20 pixels on the y-axis. This is going to give us a nice little effect, a nice little touch when the grid updates. If you are not sure how to write this animation and add these options, you can use our script generator and you are going to be able to add any type of animation to these items.
That's effing sweet.